Here's how we know that the rapture will not take place until the end of the tribulation, and how we know when the tribulation will begin and end. In 168 BC, the Greek king of Syria, Antiochus Epiphanes, turned God's temple in Jerusalem into a temple of the Greek god Zeus. He also then outlawed all practices of the Jewish religion under penalty of death. His extreme persecution of the Jews then continued for 3 years until the revolt of the Maccabees in 165 BC overthrew his forces. Shortly thereafter, Antiochus died, and a few months later, the new king who replaced him made a peace treaty with the Jews which guaranteed them religious freedom. During the time Antiochus outlawed the Jewish religion, hundreds of thousands of Jews endured great tribulation, and many thousands of them were killed. Antiochus is never mentioned by name in the Bible, but because some of Daniel's prophecies are widely understood to be about him, he is often called the Antichrist of the Old Testament. Even his name looks and sounds a lot like the word Antichrist. The year 168 BC was 200 years before the year AD 33, in which Jesus Christ gave his life to pay for our sins. Remember, there was no 0 year between BC and AD. I believe God intended for the 200 years which passed between the year Antiochus outlawed the Jewish religion and the year of Jesus Christ's death to now tell us that 2,000 years will pass between the year of Christ's death and the year the Antichrist will outlaw Christianity. And I believe the tribulation he will then bring upon Christians will last for the same length of time that Antiochus severely persecuted the Jews. And I believe at the end of that time, earth's new king, the King of Kings, Jesus Christ, will bring peace to all the earth. We know that God allowed all the Jews to live through a time of great tribulation, and that it began 200 years before the year of Christ's death. And we know God allowed the Jewish religion to then be outlawed for 3.5 years. Because God did so, we can understand that he intended for that time of tribulation to now inform us that he will also allow Christians to endure a time of great tribulation, which will begin 2,000 years after the year of Jesus Christ's death. This means the rapture will not take place until the end of this coming tribulation, and that this tribulation will begin in the year 2033, and that it will end 3.5 years later when Jesus Christ returns to rapture his surviving servants and judge this world. You can learn more about all these things in this book and by now subscribing to this channel.